Hey there, it's episode 23 of the Digital Marketing Masters podcast. This is me, Yolanda Rose, and every week I bring you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to grow your business online almost immediately. So this is episode 23. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Glad to have you on the show. Please listen through the end and let me know what you think. Drop me a review on whichever platform you are listening on, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, or even on my website. So your reviews are highly appreciated. It really gives me a lot of exposure online to reach the people that need to hear the content that I am putting out week after week. Well, if you don't leave a review or you have left a review already and you want to reach out, you can email me at yolandarose.com or even send me an Instagram. I'm Yolanda Rose 7, or you can inbox me on Facebook as well. I am Yolanda Rose. Again, those are my page details. So welcome. This episode is sponsored by Audible. Audible is a seller and producer of spoken audio entertainment, information, and educational program on the internet. Audible sells digital books, radio and TV programs, and audio versions of magazines and newspapers. Now, I need you to check out the show notes for the link in which you can sign up for a free trial on Audible, and you can get 2 audiobooks for free. And this is really fitting in with today's episode because today we're going to discuss 5 books that every entrepreneur must read in their lifetime. So check out the show notes and sign up. You get a 30-day free trial. There's no obligation to buy anything, and you get 2 audiobooks for free. So you can really test out the Audible platform and download any of these books that I'm speaking about today. I'm sure it's going to be revolutionary, especially if you haven't read these books already. So as entrepreneurs, we all need to grow, whether we're taking a course, we're listening to podcasts, or even reading books. So today we're going to talk about those 5 books that I recommend that you read as an entrepreneur. So my first recommendation is by Dale Carnegie with his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Because, if you're in business, you are selling, whether it's a product or a service, and influence is a big part of that. I mean, people have jobs as influencers right now. So this is a very fitting book on how to win friends and how to influence people. The book actually came out in 1936, and it's so relevant to business and life in general in 2019. So this book is guaranteed to change your life forever. Not only will it teach you all the do's and don'ts about social life, but it will also teach you how to be a better entrepreneur. Dale Carnegie breaks down all the steps that you need to take in order to make friends with absolutely everybody you meet. It teaches you the etiquette of how to overcome competition or how to win over people who are closed-minded or not simply interested in what you have to say. So the book has sold over 30 million copies since its first edition in 1936. It is constantly voted among the most influential books for entrepreneurs. And still to this day, although it first came out in 1936, it sells hundreds and thousands of copies each year, and you can get your free audiobook of How to Influence People and Win Friends by Dale Carnegie by checking out the show notes of today's podcast and sign up with that link, and you're going to get 2 free books, and this can be one of them. The next book that I recommend is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, another great read for every entrepreneur. So Robert Kiyosaki's book breaks down everything you need to know about financial education without giving you a headache, and which is really important for you as an entrepreneur, because what's the point in making money when you don't know how to use that money once it hits your account? It talks about how you can expand your investments from your business and your online content and marketing and get into real estate. And it talks about financial literacy and other assets that you can be purchasing in order to grow your wealth. He will teach you how to make entrepreneurial dreams come true by giving you the cold hard truth about wealth. So the title Rich Dad, Poor Dad refers to the 2 male influences that Robert Kiyosaki had as a child. His own father, figuratively the poor dad, who worked in a steady government job for a living, while his rich dad, the father of a friend, ran a multitude of businesses. Most of this book is told from the perspective of Robert learning from his rich dad on how to make money and seeing how his poor dad made huge financial mistakes. By reading this book, it really gives you a different perspective on how you look at money and financial literacy and all the things that you thought were assets, which are actually bleeding your pocket. I recommend this book. I try and read it at least once a year too. It's a great motivator, especially as a property investor. This book is something that keeps me going, and I hope that this would be one of the books that you choose to read. My next recommendation is The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. Now, The 4-Hour Workweek describes the life of the new rich, people who have emancipated themselves from the slavery of office work and built a life centered around happiness in the here and the now. So if you want to live such a life too, you will have to start by being more productive and finding a source of continuous and almost entirely passive income. Now, obviously, if you are a business owner and you are listening to this podcast, you understand the power of the new rich, about getting out of the office, getting out of the 9 to 5, and living a life of happiness. And in order to be more productive, you are on digital media to scale your business in a way that traditional marketing could never do for you. And most importantly, the automation is there. So you understand that. So give this book a try. Most people don't want to be rich. However, we want the lifestyle that we think comes with being rich. And most of the rules that Tim identifies can be broken down with no consequences and sometimes with massive benefits. One of the main features I like about this book, because Tim recognizes that if somebody else can do a task 80% as well as you can, you need to outsource it and delegate it. And that is one of the way you can live a 4-hour work week. This is a great book. If you're tired of this rat race and you're frustrated and you're in your job just to get by, this is a book you need to start out with. You can live that 4-hour work week. Given that Tim is able to live that 4-hour work week because of the years of work that he's put in previously. But this is a great starting point, and that's why I recommend this book. The next book that I am recommending is Crushing It. In fact, I just finished it this week. It's Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, Gary, as you know, he is a stalwart in the industry of digital marketing and influencer marketing. If you're looking for something wildly intellect, deeply insightful, or philosophical business strategy, you will not enjoy this book. This is not an academic book. It's a practical and straightforward book. Crushing It comes straight from Gary V's soul. If you've heard of Gary and want to learn about what makes him tick, you're going to enjoy this book. But the best reason to read this book is because it's fun, aspiring, and full of great ideas and resources. All you do is choose one idea to implement each month. You will be further ahead in building your brand and increasing sales. In fact, the whole book is really nothing more than basic tips, how-tos, resources, examples that you may have already heard of, but may have never taken full advantage of. The next book that I recommend is Rework by Jason Fried and David Hansen. Now, this book is going to motivate you to get up on your feet and move forward without planning the steps on a piece of paper before. This is for the go-getters who prefer to learn by doing. Now, Rework is a quick read with bite-sized chapters. The book contains valuable business lessons for entrepreneurs from all walks of life. Entrepreneurs who are currently dealing with self-doubt for taking the most important decision in their lives. Now, if this person is you, then I urge you to download a copy of Rework immediately on your free Audible download. So, these are my 4 recommendations that every entrepreneur needs to read at least once in their lifetime, and you will find that I'm sure there are going to be a few that you will read on a regular basis just to keep the juices flowing, just to keep that motivation up so you don't lose sight of where you should be and want to be taking your business. Now, don't forget, hit up the show notes of this week's episode, hit that link to sign up to Audible and get your 2 free books that you can download and listen to for the next 30 days. So this is me, Yolanda Rose, signing off. I will catch you next week on the Digital Marketing Masters podcast.